Everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Hatter Highlight. I'm thrilled to have Hayley Barr here today, class of 2016, like myself. So that's always fun, getting a fellow classmate on here with me. Hayley, I'm going to ask you to just introduce yourself a little bit and talk about where you are from, your background, and then why you decided on Stetson for college.
Okay, well, like Alex said, my name is Hayley Barr. I'm from the class of 2016. So I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee. And when I was in high school, kind of starting that application process for colleges, it's so overwhelming to be a high school student looking into colleges, and you get so many pieces of mail and so many like advertisements just enticing you to go to the college. And one piece of mail I got from Stetson stood out to me. Actually, it was that it was pet friendly. And so now, being a veterinarian, obviously I'm an animal lover, so that immediately stood out to me. So I applied, got in, and then what really sealed the deal was actually going and visiting the campus. You know, it's just gorgeous. I mean, what's not to love about Stetson? So
Absolutely. And when you came to tour campus for the first time, what was your first impression of campus when you stepped foot and started seeing the scenery, the buildings and everything? What did you think when you stepped on campus?
honestly, it felt like it was out of like a movie about what tropical paradise college is supposed to be like. But you know, funny enough, Stetson has been in a bunch of movies. So the campus has been used for filming of movies. So it's obviously gorgeous. But honestly, I got a sense of community. I mean, being like a smaller college, it's very close knit. And that's kind of what I was looking for as well.
Definitely. So now you've gone from senior in high school, made your commitment to Stetson. What was it like moving in as a student? Going to college, being that far away from home, maybe for the first time. What was it like as you got acclimated to the community at Stetson?
Yeah, honestly, it was super intimidating, you know, being like a brand new Tennessee transplant and not knowing anyone, but Stetson was really welcoming. I kind of just jumped right in. I made friends right away from like focus groups and from our initial like orientation meetings and from other people in my dorm as well. So everyone was super welcoming and I was able to make friends pretty quickly. I got involved in Greek life and several other organizations, the Campus Christian Group. So yeah, a lot of really good people at Stetson welcomed me in.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's a great segue. So let's talk a little bit about what you studied while you were at Stetson, and then talk more a little about that involvement that you had when you were at Stetson, the organizations, any other academic groups that you joined. Just talk a little bit about that for everyone.
Yeah, so I dual majored. I did biology and psychology, so I was involved in both of those departments. And then I had kind of interest all over the board. So I took a lot of different classes in different parts of the college, just pursuing my passions, kind of. Um, and then as far as like groups that I was involved in, I got involved in, I think it was the Beta Honor Society for like the science students, and then the Psi Chi Honor Society for the psychology students. And then I was involved in Greek life. I was in Alpha Chi Omega. And I also was involved in they keep changing the name. At the time, it was the BCF, the Baptist Collegiate Fellowship, and they've since changed names. I think they might be CCF or um, one of those other names now, but they were really awesome.
And how easy did you find it to get involved at Stetson? Like, did you, have any idea going in, like I might want to be involved in certain things, or did you kind of just start looking for groups and organizations to be involved in? And when you found ones you liked, how easy was it to get information on them and then actually start getting involved with them?
Yeah, great question. I came in with kind of an open mind. I was super involved in high school and all of my like campus groups around high school. And so I kind of just came in wanting to dive right in. And they made it super easy at Stetson as far as having like cultural credit events and like Hatter Productions events where you can just get out and meet other students that you might not necessarily meet in your classes or in like your regular day to day. So I felt like I knew a good portion of the student body by the time I graduated, just because of how tight knit it was and how many opportunities there were to get to know other students.
Absolutely, and that seems to be a common trend, a trend among Stetson alumni, which is awesome to hear all the time. And you talked a little bit about your majors. How easy or difficult was it for you being a dual major, especially in the arts and sciences field? How did you handle being a dual major and all the work that I'm sure comes with that?
Yeah, well, so besides my dual major, I was also making sure I had all of my pre-vet requisites as well. So I actually did end up taking some summer classes when I went back home from like a campus that was back home. But I think like I also kind of overloaded my plate in a way that maybe some other students don't always do. But I was able to manage it pretty well with the help of my academic advisors. They were really big part of my time at Stetson. I had Dr. Michael King in the biology department, and I had Dr. Christopher Ferguson in the psychology department, who were really great.
Two awesome faculty members, and that was going to be my next question: is how did you feel the support you got from your advisors and faculty that you took classes with were while you were a student?
Oh, I think they were definitely helpful. I mean, they definitely care about the individual student succeeding and they want us to succeed, and they'll take the time to sit with us and go over, like Dr. King was kind of going over what I needed to get into vet school. And he's like, all right, you're going to want to take these classes and you're going to want to do these things to get in. So yeah, and then he helped me with my senior research project as well. And then I worked on an individual project with Dr. Ferguson, where I was actually published in his research because I assisted with the research. So it was really cool to be published as a student.
Yeah, that's awesome. So talked about finding Stetson, getting to Stetson, getting involved, your majors. So now let's transition to its senior year in college. You know, graduation's coming up. What's on your mind, like going into February, March, April, and then May of your senior year? Are you thinking, okay, I've got it all figured out, I know what I want to do, or graduation's coming and I'm like terrified, I'm not sure exactly what's going to be next? What was going through your mind those last couple months as a senior?
Yeah, I had like a general game plan of, all right, my goal is eventually to go to vet school, but I kind of also had like an idea that I wanted to take, a gap year or two to like get some work experience under my belt. And that's what I did in my time off. I worked at the zoo as a zookeeper, and I also worked in veterinary hospitals, just like putting in those hours in order to get into vet school, because you had to have like 900 hours to get in. So
Definitely had to put in some work then.
yeah.
So now after graduation, you're taking the next steps into what you want to do career-wise. So tell us about life now after Stetson, what you've completed and accomplished and where you're at today.
Yeah, well, I completed vet school at University of Tennessee College of Veterinary Medicine. So I've just graduated with them this past year with my doctorate. So very exciting. And then I've actually just moved back to Florida because I've been hired on with a company here in Florida. So it's good to be back.
That's awesome. And so what kind of work will you be doing now? And is it something that you see a long-term career in, or is this a great just initial experience for you now that you're completed veterinary school?
Yeah, absolutely. I am a veterinarian now. I work in a small animal general practice, and that is what I see doing long term. I also have some interest in medicine, zoological, and exotics. So I do enjoy that, and that may be an opportunity for me in the future. I did have an opportunity to go to South Africa on 2 different occasions and work with the wildlife there. So that was really incredible. And then also did an internship at Busch Gardens. So that was
Wow,
really amazing as well.
that's really awesome. So that's a lot of great experience. And so I guess my next question would be, how do you think your experiences at Stetson helped prepare you for those experiences that you've had at Busch Gardens in South Africa? How do you think being at Stetson and getting to experience what you did there helped you as you entered this part of your life now?
Yeah, good question. Well, Stetson is really great about having like individual research projects that we complete in our time. And that's kind of independent study, independent work, but we work with a faculty advisor. And so I worked with Dr. King on my project, and I actually used live animals for my project. I used rats. Um, but just being able to formulate that and work on that independently kind of gave me some of that like groundwork to be able to go and pursue these other opportunities.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what then would you say, so say a prospective student that's, maybe going through the application process with Stetson and probably a number of other schools right now, say they were to turn on this video and listen to our conversation and they start thinking about how Stetson might be able to help them or be the right choice for them. What advice would you give to a prospective student right now that's kind of navigating that initial college experience and process?
Yeah, I mean, having been in those shoes, it seems like not that long ago, but I guess it was 10 years ago at this point. But being in those shoes, having all of these options in front of you can be really daunting. But what I did is I made a list of kind of pros and cons of all of my top schools. I went and did the tours. I went and did the experience so I could figure out if I meshed well with the community, if I could see myself there. And I feel like Stetson definitely affords that experience, and definitely, even if you've never heard of a school or visited there before, give them a chance and take a chance. And that's what I did with Stetson.
Absolutely. And so then I guess flipping that script a little to say a current student now at Stetson, a senior maybe who's getting ready to graduate in less than a year now. And they have an idea of what they want to do after graduation. Maybe they're not totally sure yet, but what would you encourage a current senior or any current student right now to do, especially knowing that they're at Stetson and the opportunities that are there? What would you encourage them to take advantage of, or to just be able to say, you really should take the opportunity to just start reaching out and see what you can do and where you can get your foot in the door? What kind of advice would you give to a current student?
For seniors, I would say definitely work with your academic advisors. They are there to help you. They are there to be an advocate for you in every sense of the word. So, they've been hopefully following you for the course of your journey at Stetson, and you're going through your major. And definitely utilize their advice and say, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking, but do you have any advice for me? And they usually have really great resources for that.
Absolutely. So Hayley, thank you, first of all, for joining us this afternoon and sharing a little bit about your experience, your background, your experience at Stetson, what you're up to now. The goal of these Hatter Highlights is really to showcase the great work that all of our alumni are doing across a wide variety of fields, different institutions, and really anywhere and everywhere across the world, the great things that our alumni are doing. So it's always great when they reach out to us and want to just share a little bit of their story. So I appreciate you doing that. And I appreciate you sharing with everybody that's going to tune in and watch this. And I'm sure they're going to get great value out of this. And again, we just appreciate you reaching out and wanting to share your story with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome just talking about my experience with Stetson, and I hope that it helps someone in the future who's interested, or maybe a similar career path to me, or maybe they don't know what their career path is. But
Awesome. Well,
thank you so much for having me.
thank you.